Now that you've picked the product that you're going to test, it's time to find a supplier. But before we get into that, I want to bust a couple of myths that you might have heard. Myth number 1, you shouldn't use AliExpress. Completely false. You can absolutely use AliExpress, especially when you're starting off. AliExpress is just a platform connecting buyers and sellers. Like any other platform, there are good and bad actors. You just have to know how to find good suppliers, which we'll get into in a bit. Once you're doing 10 orders per day for at least a week, then you can look into upgrading to become a VIP, and I can introduce you to my private agents for faster shipping, lower prices, and better communication. But when you're just starting off, it's not essential. Even for me and 8-figure sellers that I know, we don't bother our private agents if we're just testing a new product that hasn't made any sales yet. Trust me, I've sold tens of thousands of orders with AliExpress suppliers. Sometimes I don't even transfer over to my private agents because the AliExpress supplier is so good. And if they're not so good, then we can always upgrade later once we've proven to an agent that we can make consistent sales. So don't waste too much time here looking for the perfect supplier, and don't listen to anyone who says you shouldn't use AliExpress. Usually they're affiliated with companies like CJ Dropshipping or Zendrop or any other companies you might have heard of. But from my personal experience and a bunch of others, these are not great companies to work with. I will not recommend something to you unless I use it myself. Myth number 2, people only buy if you offer same day or next day shipping. Again, false. I've sold 7 figures worth of products and tons of these orders are over 5 days long. And yes, most of my customers are from the USA. The numbers don't lie. People will wait for a product if they really want it. I know, shocker, right? We can get like a week or a week and a half shipping times from AliExpress, and the majority of people won't care. We'll get our shipping speed increased if the product sells well, but again, it's not essential when we're just starting off. And for those of you who still don't believe me, here's some proof. Here's an order I shipped right from AliExpress to the USA, and it took just 8 days. Just 8 days, guys. And here's another one with AliExpress shipping to Australia, and that's only 10 days. That is fast enough. You shouldn't be getting shipping complaints with these times at all. There might be the odd Karen that emails you in 3 days after they ordered, but for those people, you just say, oh, it's on the way, there's a lot of orders at the moment, so things are a little longer than usual, but here's the tracking number, and then they can just track it themselves. With that out of the way, let's get into finding a supplier. When we first start off, we'll use AliExpress. After doing 10 orders per day for at least a week, you can connect with my private supplier. Finally, if you want to turn this into a long-term brand, then we can talk about working with a 3PL, buying inventory, and having local shipping for your customers. These are discussed in Ecom Nomad Pro, but for the starter program, we'll just be looking at finding an AliExpress supplier, because until you're making good sales, we don't need to worry about the next steps. Okay, next I'm going to show you how to find great suppliers on AliExpress. First, go to aliexpress.com and create an account. We'll need this for later. I already have one, so I'm not going to make another one. Next, go to the search bar and search up your product. So if my product was a pet bed, then I would just search up pet bed in the search bar. And the first thing I do is categorize by number of orders. I usually like to work with suppliers that have a minimum of a few hundred orders, but if they have thousands, that's even better. So make sure that the image is the exact same as the product you found before, and then go ahead and open up the tabs of the suppliers that have the most orders. So I'll take a look at these 3, this one, and this one. So let's see which of these suppliers will be best to work with. The first thing I check is that it either has AliExpress standard shipping or choice shipping. If it doesn't, it's eliminated. So if you click on shipping on the right hand side here, you can check for AliExpress standard shipping. This is what we want to use when we're using an AliExpress supplier. Don't worry about the estimated shipping date here. They always overestimate this. It takes like a week to a week and a half max. 99% of people are going to be fine with this. So let's see if the other suppliers have this shipping option. Alright, so this one does as well, so it's also good. The next thing I look at is the reviews. I like to see at least a few hundred reviews here and at least 4.5 stars or higher. Both of these fit the criteria, so let's go ahead and check out the reviews at the bottom and see if they're good. Don't take too long at this. I just like to look at it for like a minute and make sure they're legit. So these both look good to me. Next, look at the seller rating. You want these ratings at like a minimum of 4.5, but obviously higher is better. The second store looks a tiny bit better, but honestly, both of these suppliers would be fine to work with for me. So if they have the same price, then I just go with any of them. You can also shoot them a message and see how responsive they are. You can say like, hey, can I dropship this product, and see how long they take to respond. But honestly, I don't really bother with this anymore. I just find that looking at the reviews is good enough. Also, once I find a winning product, then I want to launch as soon as possible, preferably the same day or the next day, so I don't have time to wait for their response. Remember guys, this is just to test the product, so you don't need to worry too much. It should take like 5 or 10 minutes max to find a supplier. Once you've picked one out, just copy the URL and we'll save this for later when we put it on your store. And that's it, you have a supplier now. I know that was really quick, but honestly, it's all we need for now. So that's it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.